find some tables here. First of all, just a little bit of a recap. So I don't even know. I think that's cut off. But anyways, what does it say? $885.34. And then I guess I think it's next Monday, like build up these rewards. Maybe at the pace I'm going, I don't, might be $100, might be $50, might be $100. Whoever knows, but that's generally how the rakeback works. I'm on a promo level right now, so let's just see here. I've got to find a table. Um, Maybe I'll just get on the waiting list for this particular table. Let's get on the waiting list for. There's one waiting here already. Let's get on the waiting list for this particular table. All right, let's do it. And I'm sure eventually we'll get on the list. Who do we have? We've got Dick Lockey. We got Better Than You. We've got Andrew the Ace. We got Baxter. So primarily the usual suspects being all of the regs. Um, it's fun playing against these people. It really is. It's very fun. So let me just see. Make sure that's on the screen. Yeah, it is on the screen. So we are streaming live to you from someone's home office. All right. And you may be curious as to, um, you may or may not be curious. Who the heck knows? I just want a little bit of accountability. And I think there's no one on the stream yet. A little bit of accountability just as far as uh, tallies and results and all that kind of stuff are concerned. So if we don't get anybody hopping on the stream, then what we're going to do is, oh, there is a table available. Let's just join this table right. Oh my goodness, that was quick. Got gobbled up as soon as I tried. So I should probably just wait here and see. So I'm either going to get on this table or I'm going to, when another one opens up, let's see if I can jump right in there. Right, so there we go. Let's see if I can join. Did I get in? Did I get in? No, missed that one. Not quick enough. You're not quick enough, old man. Yep, that is the case. But I'm still on the waiting list here. Yeah, you know what? I'll get into a table soon enough. I could always stop and restart the stream and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. This is the internal. Now, this is ggpoker.ca. So, um, yeah. Let's see here. It's got Canadian dollars of 11. I think that is, let's see. Pretty sure that's just the rewards that are built up so far. Not 100% sure. Okay. And there are a lot of multi-tablers here. So people that I think I might have gotten onto a table. Look at that. Snagged it. Snagged it. Okay, so I snagged the table here, which is good. All right. So let's get the stream onto the table. I'm still on two tables? Yes, I am. Let's get out of this table. Bink. Let's get into the table. Silver 01. Silver and gold, silver and gold. There I am right here. Okay. All right. We're ready to roll. What's going on here? How did I end up on another table? Silver 02. I don't want silver 02. I just want silver 01. I wasn't even trying to get on that table. What is going on, you silly people over at GG? All right. So today, um, just playing some poker, seeing where it's basically always the, you know, not necessarily similar, but it's sharing some spots. If I can get into some spots, sharing the thought process as far as spots. So what do we got? A low board here. Mhm. Okay. Right. So I just check every once in a while just to see if anybody has joined. Um, uh, so just always trying to figure out, right? I'm trying to figure out your hand into the context of your range, into the context of the so-called villain. So they call people villains and heroes here. Um, I think it's been around forever. So it's probably been around ever since. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a raise. Yeah, let's just raise. Button raise. Yep. Barrel. There. We might have gotten into a spot here. Let's see. See what Barrel's going to do and see if he calls or he re-raises. He re-pops, then I fold. Um, we've got ace queen. Now, that's something that he's going to call. I block that. So what we're going to do here is let's just check this for now. And I can always check raise with a pretty decent kicker. Now, I mean, I pretty much have to bet, right? So, uh, let's see here. I think we're going to be looking at right around that. That's a good region, and I do have. So that was really a little bit of a delay. Was it necessarily craving that fold equity? Maybe, maybe. Was it 100% necessary to bet? Uh, Not really. If you kind of and this is still something that because I'm getting my kind of getting a what do you call it? Call it poker brain back, whatever you might call it. Um, so just getting used to spots where you can do a delayed on a three bet, or whether you can, or whether it's okay um, just to wait. I mean, I hit the ace. Sometimes people get frisky. Sometimes they read weakness. So if he reads weakness, reduce five. He needs a five. No, no, yeah, five. Um, So yeah, maybe he might have read weakness. Maybe I could have raised him there, or depending on the size of his bet, just call. Just try and think these things through. There may be some really good poker players that say, "Well, what are you doing? You're an idiot. You shouldn't have gotten tricky. You shouldn't have gotten trappy. Whatever." I mean, if he had a pocket pair there, he's happy to take a free card, right? So my trade-off was in the lack of um, denial and allowing him to realize his card. Now, this is a really low board, so I think he probably recognized that it would be interesting. So, what is that? An 80% bet? Um, okay. Pure call, almost pure call. I mean, very, very rarely. But with this kind of a board on Queen 9, there's a good chance I'm ahead of him. Now it kind of gets a little more dicey. Ace 10 could have. Now, am I supposed to, with this type of board, they're supposed to bluff. Okay. They're absolutely supposed to bluff. With fours, uh, yeah, I guess fours have some pretty decent showdown value. Um, so maybe not. Maybe that was a correct play. Yeah, I don't think they made a bad play there. With fours, I mean, there's a good chance that I don't have eights. There's a good chance that I actually have a million other hands that don't connect. I mean, here's the thing is that with that board, the environment is not necessarily in my favor. So if I didn't have eights, what am I going to do? Um, with that kind of board, let's just say I had 8-7 suited that just basically had nothing going for it. Um, under the gun, it's a good one. I think that would be. I think that bluff would be optional because still not necessarily. I mean, yes, they've capped their range, but I'm still in an environment which is not great, right? Um, I've got a lot of air. I mean, they could be just wanting to bring Ace King down. Ace King with a Queen Jack. They're probably bets, right? So, um, yeah, just bring fours down and see what they did and why they did it. So under the gun, yeah, fours is pretty wide. I wouldn't say super wide, but fours is under the gun, not super duper standard. It may be just off the beaten path a tiny bit, but super tiny. Whereas I wouldn't necessarily be calling it a mistake. But I mean, that's the bottom, right? So barrel looks pretty, maybe taggy. Would we say taggy? And we'll just give them the standard tag. Andrew the ace seems pretty taggy. Just try to, put initial tags on people. And again, this is nothing to do with like I could be off in terms of their skills as a poker player. But then, just has to have a generic tag on them rather than having nothing. I mean, usually you can bucket people into a couple of different things, maybe a few different categories. I haven't found anybody who is just an absolute, I mean, just steamroller over everyone. Haven't seen that. There's a lot of seems what seems standard ABC, and then you do have a lot. You do have people that are just grinders, right? And I mean, they're grinding, they're multi-tabling, they're playing as many tables as they possibly can. Let's see. Against that, it's most likely going to be a call. Yeah, I think I raise here sometimes, not now. And some people will say, well, why don't you just set mine here? I don't necessarily know if that is, I mean, my sevens are just, I mean, they would just absolutely get crushed here, right? So that's a pretty good example, except, except right now. So please feel free just to call me a complete idiot for not going into the all in with sevens. Yep, just as I spoke too soon. It's interesting now that how they have cash out and you have all that kind of stuff, right? I mean, I guess it's a different element. There's another element of the game that it adds, but at the same time, it really drags things along, right? I don't know. I think we're on the cusp here, but we're no. Yeah, not going to go in there. So I usually stay pretty tight to my ranges. There's plenty of hands to play. Then a jack five comes on. Well, it's comedic value anyway. Definite comedic value. So sevens and a jack five. And it's funny because a lot of people, and you can tell, a lot of people who don't know poker, or know very little about poker and kind of think they do, um, will actually say, well, that's why you'd go, that's why jack five is, I mean, just because of what happens on the flop? Well, look, well, I should have went in. I should have done this. I should have done that. I mean, there's 8 million woulda, coulda, shouldas out there. And then there's reality and there's logic, right? So, yeah, it's just another way that you can kind of tell. Like some people, they know their stuff, and they just say that, I should have done this as a joke. But then there are other people that just sort of truly believe that kind of stuff. Um, I should have. And then they base their poker strategy on, I mean, their compass is just completely grounded in the wrong direction. It's like they have just a different magnet pulling their compass, lacking the foundation. So if you have a different magnet on your poker compass, then, I mean, every single decision is going to be skewed, right? So yeah, there's poker, there's poker theory, then and then there's your feelings about poker. And then there's obviously getting into exploitative poker, right? And exploitative poker is still grounded in logic because it takes advantage of people's, it exploits people's weaknesses, right? It's still grounded in logic, even though when you exploit someone, you are grounded, not grounded, you obviously open yourself up to exploitation yourself. And hopefully that makes sense. Today, woke up relatively early, 6 a.m. And so let's see, blinds, low board. Yeah, may slightly favor this, but both ranges are very wide. Um, so single raised, I mean, so we got check, which caps and opens basically both of the ranges. They both might be saying just, I have nothing. And checking down, so we're probably going to see an ace or king here in one of these. Is there a pocket pair? Probably not. Let's just see here. So, yeah, see this guy right here. Um, I mean, with the 10, very difficult. Very difficult. I mean, this guy's more than willing, obviously, to show down his ace. So when he checked, um, I mean, your 10 is not going to, and again, that's such a low board that, I mean, that's not too negative, and you just had two checks to you. So, I mean, all those things start to stack up where, I mean, you can take a stab. You're like, okay, well, he's willing to take that down to the river. I'm gonna take a stab. Queen 10 is probably, yeah. So Mike, check this, check that, check. Hopefully everything is good. I do believe so. Checkity, check. I think Mike check's good. I think everything's good. Life is good. Always interesting to hear why people play poker, right? And we don't have a ton of people on the stream right now. I am streaming on Twitch and YouTube, but always interesting to hear why people play poker. So, um, feel free to share. And if you just want to watch, you can just watch. Totally cool. Um, I am essentially doing this because I like the game. It's very stimulating. On my un Am I under any illusions that, I mean, it just all of a sudden it's gonna be, I mean, there's gonna be millions of dollars pouring in. Yeah, it's just a game. I mean, I've kind of made my money already, and I'm getting closer and closer to what you call retirement. Not necessarily, right? I really like what I do, and so on. This is just something I like doing, and as well, I mean, you if you're okay at something. I'm not going to say by any stretch of the imagination that I am a good poker player, um, because there is such a spectrum as far as poker players are concerned. Am I an elite poker player? Well, I know that I'm not an elite poker player. Okay. Am I maybe average to? It's possible that I'm slightly above average, but time will tell. Time will tell. I haven't really deposited too much in in these on these poker sites, whether it be, I've only played on a couple. I've played on Party Poker, um, Ontario. I've played on Stars, and now I pretty much about only played exclusively on GG here, and so there's obviously the rake to overcome here. We've got a pretty decent rake, so um, I'm basically just doing this for not just for fun, but the stream is like for Under the Gun, by the way, it's not like they right here, Better Than You is going in. I'm not. So maybe they have a little bit of a looser range, or maybe they tighten up somewhere else. Who the heck knows, right? It's semantics. Um, so yeah, just I mean, play some cards, have some fun. The reason that I'm on the stream and put the channel together is just because that's fun as well. I mean, it's been fun already. I think it's like, what is it, 11 days or something like that that I've been streaming. And to be able to put these videos up, and it's not a ton of work. That's the thing. I don't want an extra job, where I'm doing a ton of work. Now, if it does become more significant, which I'm not under any illusion that it's going to, um, if it does become something a little bit more, then yeah, absolutely happy to put the work in, a little bit more work in, because the audience demand is there. So I think what now I don't want to predict, but I think the average person that's playing this poker is online is obviously lot younger than 56. Um, but I have been playing for quite a while, and so a lot of times people are just looking to be pointed in the right direction. And if I can point you in the right direction as far as poker is concerned, then um, then that's great. So there is an absolutely it is a poker community. Let's just see. Big bet, over bet. What do we get here? What are you over betting with? Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Ace King call. How often is that a bet? Let's see here. That was, did he raise? Let's see here. So it was just a raise call. So he just called with ace jack of clubs. So probably didn't think that was in the range. Uh, Dick bet, call, check bet, call. Huh. Okay. Let's see here. Small bet, big bet, uh, and then very, very large bet. Small bet, big bet, very, very large bet on a scary board. Um, I mean, merge, merge. I guess if you're gonna bluff, I mean, this is not necessarily the worst. Yeah, he was beat up until the river. That 10 came. I mean, that completion card, that was pretty scary, right? Even gets beat by, better than gets beat. So effectively, even with ace king, top pair, top kicker, um, your hand turns into a bluff catcher there, right? So you're basically counting on them to bluff. Um, they can bluff. Tough hand to bluff on, though. I mean, just tough. I can't see that being a bluff. I mean, that's just yeah, and again, that's the benefit of 2020 hindsight, right? But I mean, you're hitting, I mean, you've got and then so it's basically what was it like a 33-75 150 bet? Yep. And against that position, who's sticking around and is merged, I mean, that 10 was absolutely a scare card. Uh, and even pacing of the betting, I mean, there was thought about it, but it wasn't too long. It wasn't like, okay, well, let me just see if I can put a strategy together where I am, okay, should I bluff? Let's bluff, right? And it wasn't so quick that it was just immediate. It's just like, okay, this is what I'm doing, right? I know what I'm doing before the river comes. I'm bluffing, right? So I'm just going to try to bully my way to the pot. Um, it wasn't that. It was a little bit more measured and thoughtful. It seemed like I said this could be complete projection. So, but that's just my inclination. If I have a spidey sense, welcome everyone, by the way, and welcome into the stream. Okay, so Jack 10, that's kind of like. All right, so I do have a one liner to a straight. This guy's betting. Uh, he's got a short stack, so small bet. The only thing I want to do here is I want to call. And I probably just want to take one bullet. And the only reason is because he's so short stack. So I maybe shouldn't have even taken that one bullet. And I do have some negative implied odds, reverse implied odds, right? So my reverse implied odds, obviously, if that's a made flush, or if, uh, but you know what? I not going down without a fight. I mean, there are a lot of people who would look at that board, not a lot, but more beginner poker players. And maybe I'd have to really, yeah, maybe people who are more, uh, maybe people who are more advanced would actually go, well, what are you doing? Because he only has like, he only has 30 some odd um, big blinds. So, I mean, it's not even worthwhile to hit the queen. A valid point. Valid point. Um, so yeah. And again, you start thinking through these things and you go, okay, okay. So I know the one guy was saying there was a really cool guy from Latvia here that was on the stream yesterday, and he was asking about, can I indicate, maybe I'll just put that. I think a lot of people already know that it's a delay, but let's go. People know why you're delaying and so on and so forth. But just letting people know that there is a 90-second delay. He asked, he said, maybe you want to just indicate it somewhere. So I'll just do that. I'll do that today, um, just for the heck of it, because it was requested. Happy to do that. We haven't really gotten into any treacherous spots here today. Um, the things to pay attention to are, boards, betting patterns. I mean, we're blind versus blind right now. Um, and blind versus blind, again, you can say it 8 trillion times that super wide ranges. So when you have super wide ranges, then you can be more thin with your with your calls, and certain hands end up being more valuable, and so on. Now you can just tell some people who are the uh, multi-table grinders here. I think we got one, two, three, maybe even four multi-tablers here. Raise all in, so he's at the very top of his range. No, he's not. Well, he is, but he isn't, right? So, jacks to go all in after you get a re-raise on jacks. I mean, now I folded that hand yesterday, and I think with jacks, and I was basically saying that's an insta call. Um, Depending on positioning, but if you get a raise re-raise, that is right at the top. I mean, that's the top. So if we get a raise and we get a re-raise here, now the re-raise could be a bluff re-raise. There are bluff re-raises. There could be re-raises. I mean, Queen Jack suited. That's not gonna, but that was some of the time. I don't know if are you gonna raise all in though? No, you're not gonna raise all in. So for that reason, okay, so I would call that a mistake. All right. I'm not going to call it a massive mistake. It's an overreach with jacks. All right. Even against ace king, I mean, you're still obviously you're maybe a slight favorite against ace king, which is great. You're getting all your money in as being a slight favorite, which is totally fine. Um, okay. Yeah. So they're in position. I'm not going to do this that often. So you're going to call with queen. Let's see here. So they might be calling that queen. Let's just go here. What am I going to roll? I think I'm just going to check. Can I just check raise this? Uh, um, yeah, okay. I did hit my ace here, so I'm not getting called. I could get called by an ace queen. I think that ace is pretty strong. So let's go. Yeah, let's go 7. Let's go 6. Did that deserve a small bet? Or was the ace a little bit stronger than that? I mean, so the benefit is that you're going to keep in the lower pocket pairs. If I get a call on that, I get a call on that, then so they don't even have kings. Queens obviously is going to act differently. They don't have jacks. They might have tens, but I had a 10 blocker. So nines, nines, eights. When I raise there, could be something suited that they're gonna call with. Um, yeah, I'm probably leaning towards pocket pairs or gonna call with maybe like an ace five. No, not it wouldn't. Even though I'll kick them, I mean, less likely, obviously, because of the fact that I have an ace. So leaning towards pocket. If I were to guess a hand, I'd say pocket nines. But yeah, because they check that down with a higher board. Yeah, pocket nines are plausible. Plausible. Pocket eights are plausible. I mean, they were in position. Even pocket sevens are plausible. Even pocket sixes, maybe. So somewhere in that range. Sevens, eights, nines. The board wasn't really conducive to that. So yeah, you know what? I run one off in terms of letting the turn come. Now it allows me to realize some equity, but it also allows them to realize some equity. Um, Caps my range, so a lot less likely that I have ace queen, obviously. Although a smart poker player will check that down a certain percentage of the time. And again, do I put myself in the camp? So that was just an interesting spot. Am I going to put myself in the camp of being a smart poker player? Um, Yet to be seen. Yet to be seen. Okay, so what do we got here? Okay, so if you're calling there, if you're betting there, there's probably going to need to be a check there, right? Scared of the king. Um, Comfortable with maybe a queen. If I were to guess, I mean, there's a queen in the range. Busted draw bet. Uh, let's see, raise here. Could be a bluff raise if they play that part of the game. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Aces. Yeah, I was totally wrong. Was that even a three bet pot? Uh, yeah. See, first in with aces and then just a standard call bet. Yeah, that made sense. Check that down. Don't bet again. Mm, okay, they were love and life, right? With aces, I think, yeah, I don't think that's real frequent. Um, I don't think that, remember, they were beat by two. Um, yeah, if there was an error there, It would have been with that board. It would have been on the call with aces. I mean, in aces, it's some people wouldn't don't naturally realize this, but your aces are a bluff catcher. If somebody raises you that much on the river, I mean, the only thing you're winning to is a bluff. Just because you got the top pair, I mean, who cares, right? I mean, that would be a kind of a cool. Does that bluff get through? Doesn't get through against aces. Um, yeah, good chance it gets through against ace king, ace queen. I mean, they happen to just hit it, right? Hit it so hard on I mean, that's effectively, unless the flush comes, that is a okay. Hmm. The only thing I was thinking about was sizing there. I mean, I had so much equity that I mean, there's some pretty good EV in that hand, but it was at the end of the day, it was ace high. I still could win on ace high. I mean, I might have even been ahead there. So check, cap, weaken. Likely I'm going to get a fold. So you can think about it two ways. You want that denial, you want to take down the hand right now, which I'm very happy to. But then again, what is the likelihood that you're going to get a call from a hand that is worse? You kind of hope there's a flush draw there. I mean, I kind of hope that they have, can't remember exactly what was out there. You kind of hope that they have like the king of diamonds in their hand or something, right? Like that would be amazing. And then they stick around your bet. Um, and then let's say the diamond comes again and you stack them. That would be okay. That would be the ultimate. Um, but there's also, I could have, if you bet and get a call, that larger bet I made, that was a pretty polar, um, that was a mistake. I would say that was a mistake though, because I always could fire it again on the river. I mean, if I hit my hand, wonderful. But I mean, they were pretty polar there. So that was a mistake on my part by betting at the B75. Sure, I've got equity, but I mean, just with that board and that configuration, everything like that, I mean, so they had so much more polarity than me. And that's the opposite of what you should do. So I should have bet small there. I will remember that. Being able to point out your own mistakes is something that, and if anybody has any other thoughts, um, always great to get people's thoughts on poker hands, poker strategy, anything. But that is my take that I did make a mistake with that bet. I mean, obviously I garnered more fold equity, but and I guess there could be made that if I mean, if they had the for example, the king of diamonds, because I had the ace, right? So if they, for example, had the king of diamonds and they call, it's actually better for me that they call with more because if I do stack them, not stack them, but if I do, if we do hit the river, then I mean they just got more invested. They've got, I mean, there's more, maybe more likely that I'm gonna stack them. Maybe not much of a difference, but slight. That would be the only kind of rationale that I can think of. And you can get to the point where you do, let's call it level yourself into things. Where am I? I'm in the cutoff. Is this the button? Okay. All right. So we're just playing some, I wouldn't call it ABC poker here today, but there's not a ton of super duper, but there's always something interesting that you can find in a hand. So we've got a pretty much identical situation as I had last time. That would be good for, it's kind of a neutral board, but the queen is very good for the caller because they're going to call with ace queen a lot if it is ace queen, and they are going to they're going to re-raise with ace king, right? So I mean, ace queen, I wouldn't be surprised. Kings, okay, okay. So that there was that repop and then a call. So no, I stand corrected. I totally stand corrected. 9, 10, jack, queen. I mean, there's a lot of equity here. A lot of equity. Yeah, obviously there's still a dog, but I mean, all we need is one black card. No. 8, 9. No. A little bit of drama. A little bit of drama. A little bit of sweating going on. That's part of the fun of poker, right? When you get those situations. A little bit of fun, a little bit of excitement, a little bit of interest, and then you just kind of go back to the drawing board and you say, okay, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? Um, let's see. So they picked up so much equity, and there was an all in here, right? The all in was, yeah, all in was the cash out was declined. Probably smart because of the odds. Um, so we have reg, barrels of reg here. Reg. Some regs are stronger and some regs are a little bit weaker. Um, so just remember what hands are in the range, okay? Pay attention to that. Meaning this, obviously, and some people don't really pay attention to that, but I mean, I've got King 7. I've included King 7 in my cutoff range. I think I have, like, I'm going to have like a King 3 in my cutoff range suited. Um, so yeah, my cutoff range, that's kind of like the neutral point. Um, but a lot of people don't realize that is that there's still a decent amount of air. It's not nearly as tight as the under the gun, for example, right? This is only six-handed. So remember that when you're looking at you're looking at bets and propensity to bluff, those types of things. And it doesn't take people long to figure out that I three bet quite a bit. Do I three bet more than others? Probably. Maybe not more than other people that are playing this game because at 100 NL you do see a lot of three betting. I love getting into three bet pots, by the way, because that is an area that I want to get better at, right? So in terms of just strategy wise, flop when the flop comes out, position wise, strategy wise, what are they raising with? What does their range look like? Those types of things. So, and I mean, this is interesting as well. We've got three way. Oh, sorry, it's not three way. It's not three way anymore. This would be just the two of them. That's a big bet. Okay, so now are they betting big? Now, this is interesting here. Okay, so are you going to do this with a made hand? Yep. Well, here we go. Here we go. Run it twice. Nope. So they just want to run it once. They're okay with the variance. And I mean, so basically running it once versus running it twice. Essentially, what that does is that running it twice, running it three times, it just reduces your variance. That's all. I mean, over time. Um, so running it once, it's interesting because I watched this little video. I think it was a short or something like that. Phil Gelfond today talking about that, saying that Phil Ivey would only ever run it once because he knew that people would be a little bit more frightened. Or they may be, not frightened is probably not a good word. They would be more reluctant to um, to go all in, to call him. So he looked at that as an edge. Makes a lot of sense. Um, but if you know already going in that he's only going to run it once, then yeah, you know what? You might be less likely, less inclined to do the draws, but um, like a call with a draw, those types of things. But I mean, it really just ends up being a mathematical equation at that point in time. If you're going to go all in and you know it's going to be, if you already know that your opponent is going to go only going to go is only going to run it once, then I mean, then you just act accordingly, right? So, point of intimidation, maybe. Then again, that's Bill Ivy, right? Uh, let's see, what have I got here? Small blind. I think this is just a pure call. Should be. Let's see what happens here. Okay, this is a real small. So I think the only thing I can do here is check to realize some equity if I can. I did pick up some equity. Now, I could just raise all in, or I could just call. I think what I'm going to do, and that indicative, do I have any fold equity here? Yeah, let's just call. Now, here's the question is they are not going to fold here. So I think I got myself into a situation where I can't even raise. They're pot committed. So, um, and did they? Oh no, that was Dick, right? That was Dick Lockey. Or did they already not fold aces? Was it them or was it Dick? I think it was them, actually. When that card came, I mean, yeah. I guess at that point in time, I still did have some fold equity. Some people are just sticky with top pair, and that was a so yeah, the call was fine. Call was fine on the turn. Was it a raise though? Nah, a raise when it might have been an overstretch. Um, I don't know if I'm going to harvest that much fold equity. Then again, I mean, there's big pocket pairs. I mean, would they do that? They still might be doing that with ace king. They still might be doing that with a whole bunch of other hands. Um, but then again, that board was on the lower end. It wasn't a medium type board. So they might have recognized that. I mean, it was such a quite low board that it didn't really smack my range. It just kind of probably neutralized things. So yeah, just my thinking through the hand here. Somebody really good like Daniel Negreanu would have a totally different take on it. He'd be like, "You idiot! You didn't think of this, and this." Oh, okay, fair enough, Daniel. Here's me talking to imaginary poker players on my stream. Well, they're real, but they're not here. What do we got here? Mhm. Some- Hmm. Definitely some bluffs on that board. Jack 8 is unlikely, obviously, so yeah, I caught that hand midstream, so let's see. What do we got here? We'll pass on that for now. I mean, I went in with 7-6 right now. However, 7-6 is not, it's not really all that it's cracked up to be, in reality. If you think about it, I'd rather have King 9, personally. So we're going to go in with King 9 in the hijack. And I love this. when you keep getting raised and re-raised and re-raised, and then you got to have a decision. And what's the three bet? That's not the button, that's the cutoff. That's the cutoff, silly. King 10 maybe, but king 9 no. Poker is individual decisions, but it's also a culmination of piling up good decisions. Barrel's got the barrel full of money here. So yeah, multi-tabler, multi-tablers. We've got four multi-tablers here. And Andrew might even be five. And then me. I was just playing a single table. Just so I can talk and chat and blah blah blah. I can bullshit. Let's see here. My mom just texted me to ask what I want for Christmas. Um, what do we want for Christmas? What do we use for Christmas? Literally, what could we use for Christmas? Let me just think about this for a second. Mm, Think around the house, around the yard, around here. What could we use? Hmm. What could Steph and I absolutely use? I mean, we pretty much have everything we want and everything we need. All right, let me get back to you. Let me get back to you, Mom. Am I being a little bit uh sort of on the on three bets? That is the question that's kind of lingering right now. Am I being passive on that one three bet? Not a three bet pot, sorry. Um, when that queen came, I got raised. Did I call there? And then with the king queen, I mean, that is a very good card for me. So, and I was in position. That was my calling range, though. Yeah, that would have been worth a stab, probably. Queen, because the queen is such a special card for the caller in that circumstance. Yeah, it's. I don't think I have to bet that king queen. I could see if I maybe realize my equity. Oh no, the king queen wasn't there. Like it was ace something in that queen high. Did I have an ace 10 maybe? I don't remember. My king queen was on the low board. What do you got, barrel? Barrel's on a heater. On fire. Do 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 do. Oh, fire, fire. Late at night, I'm driving you home. Mm-mm-mm. Haven't heard that song in forever. It's not a song you hear a lot, unless you're around a Springsteen fan. They're obviously out there. Bullet. Oh, don't waste my bullets. Don't waste my bullets, London Fisher. No barrel. Oh, thank you. Let me see. Let me see. Do I ever get cute? No, I never get cute. Honestly, well, the range is so wide, but you can, um, sure you can get into just a whole world of hurt. So might as well. Hopefully, he's got a good hand that he can call that with and just play it. But I guess there'd be certain frequencies that you'd want to maybe trap with that. I don't know. Maybe in a but I don't think that's necessarily sound poker. Um, just me, just me. Mhm. Very first thing you look at when you're in a hand, you're analyzing a hand. Very first thing you look at is position. Okay. So let me just see here. Maybe I won't be able to take a look at that hand. H3 versus was King Jack, King Queen King Jack suited. Okay. Okay, let's just take a look at that hand for a sec here. Yeah, King Jack suited Ace 3, so hit. Um, okay, raise call. That's big blinds. Check it all the way to the river. Let's see here. Check, check, check all the way down. Andrew, probably not the worst thing you can do. Um, check, check, and then bet to get a call from, I guess, hope they hit the king, get a call. Oh yeah, this full house. Um, so pretty much invincible hand. So you're checking down your full. Yeah, you would have definitely gotten a fold anywhere along. Allow them to realize some equity, allow them to catch up a little bit. Decent strategy. Yeah, decent strategy, Andrew. I think that's kind of intuitive. A lot of people will probably do that as well. I mean, yeah, because if you've got a full house, then, yeah, you don't have to worry about kickers. You don't have to worry about anything, right? So, no worries. The only thing technically that you could have lost to was quads, and if there was two aces over here, but that wouldn't have happened. So, That was a small bet too, right? No, it's a big bet. Okay. Percentage wise, but there's nothing in the pot. So, but I mean, if you got the nuts, if all you're doing is looking for a call, um, I have to think that through because for the amount of times that you actually get the call versus just betting big because your hand deserves something big, right? And that polarizes your hand a lot more. Like you're definitely more polar than them with the ace, right? I mean, your polarity is the nuts, or I mean, it's extremely likely. It's extremely likely that, I mean, yeah, that was, he probably got as much as he could out of that hand. Um, yeah, so I mean, credit where credit is due on that hand. Is that a trend you necessarily want to be, I mean, trying to milk? So bet small to milk out of um out of hands. I don't know. I think not. I think, and here's another school of thought that if you bet what your hand deserves, and this comes from people who are wiser than I, you bet what your hand deserves. You're going to get fewer calls, but I mean, you're going to win so much more when you do get that call, right? I mean, and there's obviously a chop there. So it's just getting into that mentality, right? That mentality of nickel and diming. I don't necessarily know if nickel and diming is where you want it, is the way you want to play poker. Hmm, if that makes sense. Now alone. You say you don't like it. And anybody who's watching right now, I do appreciate it very, very much. Oh yeah, we'll see if any we get some more people hop on the stream. Maybe not. Who knows? Doesn't matter, right? Um, if I have one person, if I have, you know, I've actually had, I've had a few people, and the great thing about a few people is, and the one thing that one of the gentlemen from yesterday from Latvia comment, he said, you get one of these huge poker streamers. I mean, you try to get a conversation or a question in, it's just not happening because they're just inundated, right? So they can't actually have a conversation about really about poker strategy, those types of things. Specific, you can't really engage that way. So this guy's the hijack, right? Yeah, I think it's very, 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 very rare that I'm actually going to raise that hand. Be a decent hand to raise, but I mean less than 5%, maybe 5%. And rather than doing that, it might be more player dependent, but no, less than 5%. I mean, out of position, it's a tough hand to play out of position. I mean, You get a low flop, and you might be golden. You might be able to bet your way out of it, that kind of stuff. But I mean, under the gun's a pretty tight range, right? Mm. So the odds, if you did it every time, um, it's a little spice. It's not the main course. It's a spice. Makes sense. I hope so. And again, I'm not the ultimate seer of everything poker. I am basically just a 100 NL person in Canada playing GG poker. Kind of nothing really. So yeah, take everything I say with a grain of salt. Let's just let's bet here. Mm, Good raise. So, and they might have had like some equity. They might have had a draw. They could have had a million different hands, but I mean, what could I do? Right? It was just a pure bluff, which I think is totally fine. Can bluff earlier in the hand. I could check. I could I could just check raise that hand as a bluff. I could whatever. I could do whatever. I mean, it is blind versus blind. So technically their call range is a little bit stronger than mine. So the king, I got lots of kings in my range. What am I saying? What am I saying? Mm, hmm. Um, Let's go. Do I check that ever? I don't think I actually just check that ever. Let's just start off with that. Yeah, there could be draws there. Could be a queen. Could be jack. Could be this. Could be that. I can bet. I can check. I don't think my hand has enough equity to bet right now. Um, Now it does. So I will get a call from the check bet. I'll probably get a call from a queen or a jack. Maybe not. Maybe they just had a draw. So again, what I was doing there is, and I mean, feel free to correct me, right? What I was doing there was trying to assess the equity in my hand. When you get a call, I mean, you still got top pair, okay kicker, right? I mean, it's easy to get out kicked there. Um, Medium kicker gets, yeah, medium to high kicker. So if so yeah, I can check or bet there with the amount of equity that I had. Um, Top pair, probably not. Probably wasn't deserving of a like a B75 or something like that. But then with the check, it's a little bit of a reset. It was basically a brick. I think I'm calling this. Mm, just gonna call this. We going to. Do I bet for protection or do I just bet here? Period. I think with the strength of my hand, probably should just check that down, right? And then that's a call. So Dick gonna bet with ace high? Now he may take that down to showdown. Should I bet my deuces? Double check. Is he gonna call me with ace high? He might actually call me with ace high. So let's see what happens here. He might call me with ace high. It was very thin. That was very thin. Maybe too thin. But he did check twice. I mean, there's that. Gotta get up. It's one of those tweener in different hands. It probably doesn't really matter if I call, fold. Remember, folding is always an option, right? You don't have to play every hand. Fold is always an option. Or raise, right? So, hijack. I think this is going to be just a call. 10 Jack Queen. Okay, this could be because could be a call, could be a raise. Uh, um, as of right now, it's just going to be a call. Now it is going to be it could be a raise or a bet. I guess let's see here. Now I got pretty much the nuts. So let's see here. Hmm, check raise didn't work. Check raise didn't work. I guess there's just way too much air in that range. Not air, but maybe some high equity starting hands that just wanted to get to the river. With a king, is he supposed to bet there with a king? Uh, yeah, maybe. Uh, let's see. Is he supposed to bet there after I called? So I did condense. Um, let's see here. Check, bet, check, check with the king. Maybe he thought his king was just good. On that type of a board, I mean, there was, yeah, they made flushes. So that probably polarized my range. So yeah, it might have been a mistake. Hmm. It's quite possible that I missed out on a bet, but he wasn't going to call anyway with the king, unless it was a small bet. So yeah, my bet choice would have been either a large bet. Hopefully, I mean, hopefully he just thought I was bluffing, which in that spot, yeah, like I said, I got some flushes there, right? So, or uh, uh, what's he gonna call with? Happen to have an ace, he would call, but he'd probably bet that ace on the turn. He wouldn't take that down to the river. But the flush there, so nope. Um, there's a little bit of a blunder there on my part. I mean, I went for the check raise, but no, if he had the king, is he gonna call? So he raised me. Um, no, that wasn't even a raise pot. Um, Queen 8 versus hijack. So he could have King Jack just with the King of Clubs with the blocker. I could have gotten a call. I would have B150'd it. And yeah. So just thinking out loud about these hands. Should be a raise here. I could call sometimes. I think I could probably call sometimes there. 13. I think we got to go to 26 then. If you're going to go 12, 27, it's probably going to have to go to 28. So just kind of nickel and diming right now. Question: what's the first thing you see when you see that board? Button versus big blind. What's the first thing you notice? Obviously, right? But what are the implications? So that was a 50% bet. So that would That tilts London over to having a draw. Now, if you have one card, some people won't take that other card, but with implied odds, depending, right? And some people will actually ignore the straight draw. I mean, that was a big, those are pretty getting into big bets, right? So they did condense, and then there was a bigger bet. That's like kind of like a really hurry, I've got the nuts here. Hurry up, I've got the nuts. But then are you going to do that? If you actually have the nuts, are you just going to rush, rush, rush? Or are you going to do that with, see, that was, that's interesting with bet sizings there, right? So that was a bet, bet line? Um, at least a bet line. Yeah, that's value. That's value. Where the hell am I? What do we want for Christmas is the big question. Um, there. No raise there. I mean, that's what are you calling me with? It's not a great hand for me. Is that a give up? Is that a give up? Yeah, I think that's a give up. It's okay. Yeah. The, it's a give up. I was gonna bet on that river. If I was gonna bet, I guess he would fold to. I mean, but am I gonna bet that on a king? I mean, what kings do I have? I guess I could have two pair, right? There are some two pairs there. Um, hmm, yeah, okay. I don't think that's the most terrible play. I mean, I bet for some fold equity there. Didn't get it. Probably better to check raise. Hmm. But I took a stab. Yeah, I could have checked down an ace, like a weak ace, and then bet. Maybe I had two pair. Yeah, that type of a hand. With that board, I've got some um, decent equity, but I mean, I think the one and done. We condense with tens. So essentially looking at fourth pair. Did have some redraw. Ace wasn't a great card though to come out. Yeah, so fine. The give up was fine. Think. I think not follow through wasn't the best. Yeah, if I followed through, don't think that would make sense. So yeah, the give up. Live to fight another day. Is this ever a call? It's really high up. I don't think it's ever a call. Uh, no, no, I don't think that's ever a call. Maybe he's jack suited. And Dick Lockey again. The famous Dick Lockey. What was that movie from way, way, way back in the day? The famous. Oh my God. So funny. Poker Stars. Double your next deposit up to $500. Really go in with those. It's so much email here. One, two, three. Everyone folds. November 26th. When is November 26th? What's going on here? That raise. No. What's today? Okay. 26th. That's tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Not sure why they don't want to just pick up and drop off at the same time. I mean, I did buy another one. Oh well. No worries. All I want for Christmas, Mom, is peace and joy throughout all the land. Me too, son. Big Lucky, the Terminator from Hungary. What do you do with five against the hijack? What do you do with fives against the cut off? No, I am in the cutoff. What do you do with fives against son of the gun? You get raised. What do you do when you get raised? And then there's a re-raise. You fold. Set mine with what, 20% of my stack. Come on now. Come on. Some people like, no, you gotta call. You can hit a set. How often does that happen? The only thing I had there, I didn't have position. No, I did have position, right? Is that blinds? Yeah, raise, re-raise. So the only thing I had there was position. You got a call, you can get a set, you can stack everyone. Sure. Let's see, where was I? I was in the cutoff with fives. Small blind, uh, raise here. Anyway, I'm not calling. Not calling that. Just throwing my money away. Andy, what happened here? Oh, he's not happy. So fish. Called him a fish. With aces. With the diamond. He's calling him a fish when he was actually went in behind and the aces were ahead and he's calling him a fish. Okay? Interesting. That is quite interesting. Fish. That's funny. Fish. Oh my goodness. Like you're a dog. You need some help. right? You need some help. You go all in. You happen to suck out, and then you say fish. 3 out of 4 times you're losing that hand. Um, Fish. A little bit of redraw. Couple nines. Obviously, any heart. Couple nines. I don't think there was a straight draw out there. So, I mean, that's funny. Fish. Who's the fish here? Who is the fish? Let's dissect that hand. Who is the fish? Or who deserves to call who the fish? Put it that way, right? Not that his call was necessarily wrong, but I mean, he was a dog going into the river. Love that. Fish. Out of all the things you could say, like tough luck, I sucked out. Oh man, I like phew. There's so many things that you could say, but just to call the other person a fish. Oh my God, that is so funny. What'd you raise with? Kings. Yeah. Okay, that's a thing. That raise absolutely pushes them towards having an ace if they call, right? What would be the purpose of the raise there? Let's see here. Was that necessary? No, I don't think so. You could just call, bet, call, bet, raise. I mean, what are you trying to deny? If you think you have the best hand, then why would you raise? I mean, it's not like there were any draws out there. Or the draws. There's nothing. You're hoping that he has a jack. King Jack. No, King Jack, Queen Jack. You're hoping he has Queen Jack. I mean, so there's no draws. Basically, you're kind of home free with kings. Um, you're just raising and then pushing him towards having the ace when he calls. He's like, "Yep, okay, Andrew the ace." See, you should have read his name. He didn't realize that he was Andrew the ace. Then you would have known what he had in his hand. Tisk tisk. That's streaming for 1 hour 37 minutes. There's been a few decent spots here. Nothing earth shattering. I made myself a few FPs. How often do I call here? How often do I call here? That's split. So this is a raise. This time, next time it'll be a call. Ooh, baby, we got a re-raise. So cut off 4 bet. Uh, we gotta call that, right? Yes, we do. He's king. Jack 10. That actually is kind of neat. That is within my wheelhouse. Do I check that down? And that probably ends up being a big bet for me. Let's see here. Or do we just check for pod control? Nope. Hmm. It would have been a full house. So yeah, a little bit of I mean that was a decent flop for me. Ace King Jack 10 board. I mean that pretty much smacked my calling range, right? Yeah. Because mid to high, that's pretty good for me. It's pretty good for me. Now, was the big bet the right thing to do? Mm, bigger bet. Denial. If I get called, then I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to reevaluate on the turn. Mm, hmm. Yeah. Was that only maybe a 25% bet? Maybe it was only a 25% bet. Hmm. Good question. I mean, that was more of a denial bet, right? It might have been a value slash denial, but was that a do not bet? Um, that was denial. That was pretty much a denial bet, right? Because there wasn't a hell of a lot of value there. I mean, what am I getting value against? I mean, ace king calls, ace queen calls, king queen definitely calls. And what are the combinations out there? What did he re-raise me with? Like an ace five or something like that? That's just nothing. Just wanted to take to the river. Hmm. I think of all the. Yeah, maybe tighter than I think. I kind of blew him out of that hand, right? So good to get the denial. Good to pick up the pot, but was that the highest EV move that I could have made? I mean, yeah, he checked. I kind of capped him. So good chance that if he aces, kings, queens, he would have bet. So that probably eliminates those from the equation. Yeah, he could have easily just had ace, king, and then with that bet, I just kind of blew him out of the water. Kadoosh. So that would have been value against ace, king, obviously. But I mean, with a gutter, does he necessarily fold? Maybe to that size of a bet. So that could have been denial factor there, right? I don't even know if this is a thing. Is this a thing? Yeah, this is probably a thing. That's not a thing. Okay, so this is a pretty generic um, day to day. A lot of spades today. Spade day. This is spade day. I'm gonna fold. And so today was a decent day. You know, up a half pot. Um, so yeah, I mean, total crept up today just a little bit. And anybody who pay attention today, I thank you so much. Guaranteed I'm going to be back later. And yeah, watch the replay. All right. Have a good one.